Proverbs 3:6, number 9 on our top 10 most searched for Bible verses on the internet. Does it seem as though that the path that you're heading on in this life resembles more of a maze? Well, in this short video, I'll demonstrate how, as a general rule of thumb, God can make your life's path much more straight and level. Hi everyone, I'm Mark Leeming from the 1 Minute Preacher, and welcome to this Thursday morning Bible brief. Proverbs 3:6 is number 9 on our top 10 most searched for Bible verses on the internet. And Thursday by Thursday, we're making our way down to number 1. So let's begin with today's verse, Proverbs 3:6. Proverbs 3:6 says, "In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." Now, Proverbs 3:6 is found in the book of Proverbs in the Old Testament, which contains hundreds of ancient proverbs. Most of these proverbs are attributed to King Solomon, who lived around 1000 BC, although some later on in the book are attributed to others who may in fact have not even been Israelites. Now, Proverbs 3:6 uses the imagery of a path, and for us modern readers, we can easily miss its significance. As modern people, right, we think it's nothing jumping into a car, driving on nice, smooth, paved roads, and arriving at our destination safely and in comfort. However, back in King Solomon's day, travel was very difficult, slow, and often done on foot. And because many parts of Israel are mountainous, it's not just that the paths went up and down, but they would also zigzag in and out of different valleys. And so as the crow flew, your destination might not have actually been that far, and yet say if there was a deep gorge or a ravine separating you and your destination, it might have meant that you would have to walk several miles in that direction before you could cross over, and then have to walk several miles on the opposite side until you got there. And then when it was time to go home, you got to repeat the entire process all over again. A number of years ago, I got a small glimpse of what that must have been like. I visited the nation of Haiti. I was visiting a Christian orphanage up in the mountains where there really weren't any roads. It was just dirt paths. And so for the people who lived up there, if they brought anything up from the valleys down below, it was either on their backs or, in the case of women, it was balancing it all on their heads. Nothing like being a visiting out-of-shape white guy huffing and puffing up one of these mountain trails, only to be passed by an elderly Haitian woman with a large bucket of water balanced on her head. And when I was there, the orphanage held a 2-day Bible conference for all the pastors of the surrounding mountains. And some of those pastors, it took them over 6 hours just to walk there due to the up and down zigzagging nature of the whole trail system that they had to take. And I'm sure more than once they wished that there had just been one single trail that was level, that led straight to the orphanage. And Proverbs 3:6 says that God will make our life's path straight and level. However, there is a qualifier. The beginning of the verse says that in all your ways submit to him. We have to be willing to follow God and obey his commands. We have to be willing to pursue a godly life. Because let's face it, when we do things our own way, when we do what we want, we follow paths that, well, they don't lead to very good places. We fall into ravines and gorges of our own doing. It would be a lot more simpler if we just followed God instead. Now, as you can see, there was a sudden cold snap last night, and it snowed before I was able to finish filming the rest of this video. It's beautiful, isn't it? Anyway, I just want to quickly point out that Proverbs, just like any other short saying, pithy saying, whether religious or not religious, they're never meant to be taken as guaranteed outcomes. They're meant to be as a general rule of thumb, that if you do this, this will be the probable outcome. So Proverbs 3:6, it's not a name it and claim it type verse, that just because you do what is right, that somehow your life will just be peachy and wonderful. Because in the rest of Scripture, it clearly teaches that we live in a fallen world, right? That we are affected, whether we want to or not, by many different factors, things that are usually beyond our control. And we're also very affected by the consequences of other people's bad decisions, of other people's sin. There's this great lie in our culture today, right? That I can do anything that I want. It doesn't affect anybody else. It's my own decision. Well, Unless you live alone on a deserted island, personal choices are never personal. They always influence, they always affect other people, whether for better or for worse. And we need to keep that in mind. Just because we are walking the straight and narrow road doesn't mean we won't be blindsided by other people's sin. And during those times especially, it's very tempting for us to question God. God, where are you? I thought I was doing what you said. I thought I was doing what was right. So why am I in this situation? Well, just remember that God is there with you, and he's wanting to get you back onto that straight path. Now, over there are 2 videos you can watch. One is, of course, from last week, number 10 on our top 10 most searched for Bible verses on the internet. If you missed that, you can click on that. Or if you've already seen that, why not click on that other one? Please do give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me a lot. Give a comment down below. And please do subscribe as we're making our way now next week to number 8 on our top 10 most searched for Bible verses on the internet. I'll see you then.